Alright, guys, so based on the title that you read, you're gonna hate me for what I'm about to say about this show. I don't think it is completely terrible, but yeah, what the fuck? I don't, I didn't hate the show. I just didn't find it a lot that special. The moments that I was excited for, it were kind of like. There was one match I was excited for, and it ended up being the match of the night for me. But everybody's gonna have different opinions about this show, and I'm gonna piss off a lot of fucking people when I talk about AEW Revolution 2021. So I didn't watch the buy-in show, but I heard that Britt Baker and I forgot the name of the tag team partner she was with beat Thunder Rosa and Riho, and that is kind of sad. Like, uh, one of them is a former women's champion, the first ever AEW women's champion. Two of them are the most over talents in the roster right now, and then I don't know who this other girl is, but I guess she replaced somebody. But yeah, they kind of did these girls wrong. They deserve a match on the show, especially with some of the shit we did get. But let's just talk about this show. Young Bucks defeated Chris Jericho and MJF. Now this was a good match, and I really thought that MJF really sold. He could definitely be a great tag team partner, but honestly, I'm starting to realize the pattern with AEW. I know that they want to like put everybody on the card, but sometimes you don't need everybody. Like personally, what would have made sense is MJF and Wardlow. I would have Chris Jericho say like, "Oh, MJF, you have been such an impactful character in the inner circle. I let you pick whoever you want. I'll be on commentary, because Jim Ross was not doing so good. That's a fun fact. Jim Ross sucked tonight. Um, Jim Ross, he had bad throat or something. He sounded sick. I felt bad for the guy. But personally, if I were them, I would have just told them like, stay home. You might be sick. We don't want to risk anybody else being sick. Or yeah, because Jr. really sounded horrible today. No offense, I still love Jr. I think he's one of the greatest commentators of all time, if not the greatest commentator of all time. But I would have like kept him home. Like, if he was gonna sound like this, I would have just like kind of do a last minute call, like saying like, hey, look, Jim Ross is not sounding so good. Let's just send him home. That's what I would have done. Because yeah, Jr. Like I was worried for the guy, I really was, and yeah, you could really hear his voice throughout the commentary. But let's just talk about the match. I got distracted, but there was just a good match, but I kind of am disappointed in the sense that we could have gotten FTR versus the Young Bucks. I personally thought that the FTR and Young Bucks storyline should have expanded throughout. They could have even done the whole back and forth with the belt, something different, something that AEW hasn't done yet. I know NXT and even WWE have done it, but it would be nice for AEW to take some pointers that WWE does. I would have done that. Um, and yeah, it was a good match. I should have known that the Young Bucks were gonna win, but I guess it's gonna lead to a possible inner circle breakup down the road. I'm excited to see that, I guess, but yeah. So next match, I was not looking forward to this at all, but it was the Casino Tag Team Royale, where it's number one contenders for the AEW Tag Team Championships, which will probably be on free TV because for some fucking reason, AEW loves to do number one contender matches to TV matches. Imagine if I won the Royal Rumble. In my mind, I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna face the champion at the next pay per view, or if likely WrestleMania. Like that should be the case. Instead, I'm gonna face whoever the champion is on Raw. That would fucking suck. Like, it's like, okay, I won the Royal Rumble. I lost on Monday Night Raw. Now what? Then you move around, don't know what the fuck you're doing. It's so stupid. I don't know why the fuck they do this all the time. Like, I fucking hate that they do this shit. If anything, there should have been the women's spot from earlier on the show. It was I like I said, I didn't see the match, but I heard it was decent, especially when you have uh two great talents, that being Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa. I like Riho. She's all right. But yeah, she was definitely a terrible women's champion, but she wasn't terrible as a wrestler. That's just a given. She wasn't, at least she wasn't god awful. But anyways, the Casino Tag Team Battle. This was basically the Royal Rumble. Just calling it like it is. It was a tag team Royal Rumble match, and some of the tag teams that were in this match weren't announced. Like Jurassic Express, I didn't even know they were gonna be in this match, or they weren't even announced. FTR were nowhere to be found, even though they beat Jurassic Express. What the fuck, guys? So it just made no sense, and the final four were Pac and Phoenix from the Death Triangle, Jungle Boy representing Jurassic Express, and John Silver representing the Dark Order. I knew someone from the Dark Order was going to be in the final four at least, and it made sense for it to be John Silver. He's the most over guy. He's very entertaining. He's very funny, and I like the guy. But yeah, he didn't make it to the final three. It ended up being Phoenix and Jungle Boy fighting each other. It started as a 2-on-1 handicap match with Pac eliminating getting eliminated by Jungle Boy, which was a big moment because it clearly tells that they love Jurassic Express. They just don't go all the way with them. I wish down the road, like by the end of the year, Jurassic Express should be the tag team champions, or at least Jungle Boy or Luchasaurus should win the TNT championship, something. But these guys deserve more. I guarantee you that. And anyways, Ray Phoenix ended up winning the Royal Rumble, the tag team Royal Rumble. That's what I'm gonna call it. And now Ray Phoenix and Pac will probably face the Young Bucks on free TV because that's what we do. We give away our matches for TV. Hey, buy our pay per view so you get excited for our TV shows. Hello, like I rather watch the big matches. Like I want to pay good money to see that because Ray Phoenix and Pac versus the Young Bucks, that is money. That's a pay per view match in itself. Like, why the fuck are they just wasting these men? And how many battle royals are we gonna fucking see? At each pay per view, it really shows that they just want to throw everybody in there. Similar to WrestleMania when they did the Andre Battle Royal, it was clearly just because they wanted everybody on the card. So just own up to it and just say like we don't know what the fuck we're doing. And I would honestly give the guys a little bit more respect. Hikaru Shida defeated Rio Mizunami. I don't know how to pronounce her name. I like the story because these two are frenemies, you could say, and they clearly have good chemistry. This was a solid little match. Um, but deep down, I really wanted it to be Britt Baker versus Hikaru Shida, and and oh my god, this shit pissed me the fuck off. Nyla Rose attacks both girls at the end of this match. How many times are we gonna see Nyla Rose versus Hikaru Shida? These girls are pretty much Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns all over again. We're constantly getting a match we don't want to fucking see. It's a heel that's barely on TV that has a manager as a talk piece who cuts the same fucking promo time after time after time, and then we have a baby face that no one gives a shit about because this division is not that good to begin with. So it's just fucking pointless and stupid. So why are they doing this? It's so fucking dumb. Like literally, Hikaru Shida is Roman Reigns and Nyla Rose is Brock Lesnar. The same shit. No one gives a. They like both women. I guarantee this. The AEW fans love both women. They just hate putting them together. I guarantee you, if you separate them, give them their own separate stories, give them time to like have a different match down the road, then maybe we'll be invested. But we've seen this match so many times, and we're gonna keep getting this match. Give us something else. This match fucking like god damn it. But no disrespect to Rio Mizunami. She had a good showing with Hikaru Shida, so I really enjoyed that about it. But god damn it, Nyla Rose, like fuck off. That's another thing. You're making people like go away heat, and that's worse than different kinds of heat. Um, Next up, Miro and Kip Sapien defeated Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor. I kind of like the story that they were telling. But at the end of the day, this was a pretty bad match. Kip Sapien, I'm sorry, like I can't wrestle for shit. I'm just calling it like it is. Miro is great. Rusev, I think he's a little overrated. He overhyped himself and he got kind of an ego. But I clearly see that they're gonna build him up to be a top player once again because at this point he didn't even give a shit about Kip Sapien and Penelope Ford. He just gave a fuck about winning and destroying Chuck Taylor. That's what I want from Miro. That is the Miro that I love. That is the Rusev that I love. That is the proper way to book this guy. Um, Personally, I would have wished if we just got Miro versus Orange Cassidy because we had a lot of tag team matches in this show. It was ridiculous. It was insane. Um, Hangman Adam Page defeated Matt Hardy in a big money match where the winner will if Hangman beats Matt Hardy, then we would have had freaking what's it called? We would have had Matt Hardy lose a bunch of money to Adam Page. And kind of convenient that I'm drinking. It's not beer, it's mineral water, but yeah. Jesus fucking Christ. This match is kind of boring. I'm gonna be real. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't that great. Matt Hardy he's just not meant for AEW. I think he's trying his hardest, but I would have sent honestly the work that Matt Hardy and Private Party were doing in Impact. That was great. Keep him on Impact, and this is not like a downgrade to Matt Hardy and Private Party, but I think AEW and Impact could benefit from swapping some guys over to the rosters. Like SCU ain't doing shit. Send them to Impact where they became superstars. So put them there. Matt Hardy and Private Party could benefit from going to Impact. And then you already have the Good Brothers being on AEW. Send them there. Fucking Ethan Page showed up on this show. I got a lot to say about that. But yeah, I'm just saying, switch some people around. That would be great. But yeah, this match was all right. Personally, if I were to do something different to this card, I would do Young Bucks versus FTR on the opening match, and then I would do Hangman Adam Page versus Chris Jericho here, where we would have the same stipulation of Hangman gets a bunch of money, and then we could still have that whole Dark Order moment, and then we could do Dark Order versus the Inner Circle, which will eventually lead to the breakup of the Inner Circle. So that's my way of thinking things. So that would have been great. Um, that would have honestly benefited the pay per view, and it would have been even bigger. Even the people who think this show is fantastic would admit that that would be a better card if we had the exact same card, just switch the tag team match, the tag team title match to Young Bucks versus FTR, and then Hangman Page versus Chris Jericho. Have those two matches and then change the entire card around. That would have been better. And then do Miro versus Orange Cassidy because that would be pretty solid. But I understand why they did the tag team match now that I watched it because it's showing that they're going to split up Kip and Miro. And it actually still makes Orange Cassidy look strong because I believe he wasn't the one who got pinned or tapped out on this match. So there was ways of working it. So I respect that they at least did that for that match. What I don't respect is this next match, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to give this match a fucking dud. I hated the fucking ladder match. Ugh. Like again, what is it with AEW? Like having number one contender matches for um number one contender matches for a match that we're getting on Wednesday, nonetheless. And let me just reread everybody who was in this match just so I could get it correctly. So, and I honestly, I'm a little glad that they did not do that stupid move where it's like two people wrestle and then like every 4 minutes somebody else comes in, or every 90 seconds somebody else comes in. Um, I'm glad they didn't do that because that was a fail at Double or Nothing. But yeah, I thought this was stupid. What they did. Let me explain what happened. So we start off with the entrances. We had first of all, Max Caster is fucking awful. he's not the type of heel that you hate, like go away heel. This is more like get the fuck out of my face heel. Like I would have rather much seen -10 or 10 or whatever the hell his name is on this card. That was the guy he originally fought to be in this match. At least people know who that guy is. Who the fuck is Max Caster, a fake ass doctor of thugonomics? Wigga? Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of my face. I don't like this guy. He fucking sucks. And this match showed it. Then we had Penta El Cero Miedo, who honestly I thought was gonna win. Lance Archer, Scorpio Sky, Cody Rhodes, and the sixth person. Holy shit! It's Ethan Page. Who the fuck is that? I actually had to Google who the fuck Ethan Page was because I don't follow Impact that much. And I read the Bound for Glory card for. I haven't seen Bound for Glory last year, but I do know that the card he was in the tag team title picture. I believe he was one half of the tag team champions. And then I saw that on Hard to Kill, the same show we had Omega and the Good Brothers versus Rich Swann and two other guys. I forgot. He fought himself, the Karate Man versus Ethan Page, and I watched it while I was watching this match. And holy shit, this guy fucking sucks. For starters, early on the show, QT Marshall ditched Dustin Rhodes, and then when Ethan Page came in, I thought that was QT Marshall when I saw him, and then they said Ethan Page. Oh, that's not him. And why am I so mad about this? Well, because the next segment really pissed me off. So, for months, people have talked about, for the past week, people are saying, like, oh shit, Big Show just announced that some worthy Hall of Famer is going to come out and sign a contract with AEW. And everybody thought it was going to be Christian. And they were right. Christian Cage is signed to AEW. I am super happy for Christian. This is the perfect guy to be in it. With that said, why the fuck did they put Ethan Page, a nobody who no one knows, no one gives a shit about? I'm being real. The casual fans do not know who the fuck Ethan Page is. The casual fans know who Christian Cage is. So imagine if he came out and the sixth entrant and people be marking out, and then that way, like he would climb and pick up that Sonic the Hedgehog ring. You think he's gonna win it, and then a heel of your choice. Hell, you could have even made it Max Caster. If he was gonna be in getting some real heel heat, why didn't Christian try to grab that brass ring? I finally figured out what the fuck that meant. But what if Max Caster threw Christian, and then he picks up the Sonic the Hedgehog ring, and then that will give him major heel heat for the next night on Wednesday. But like no, or hell, you could have made it Pentagon El Cero Miedo. Like that would have been perfect if like it's just the match would have benefited if we saw Christian in this match. Ethan Page? Ethan Page. Are you serious? Ethan Page. We haven't even talked about who won the match, but before we get to that, let's talk about Cody Rhodes. So I like the story that they were trying to tell with him of like, okay, I lost to Shaq, but listen, the best way to redeem myself is to continue with this ladder match, and he failed. That was honestly the best part of the story. But then he got injured, or I don't know if he really got injured, but he left halfway through the match just to come back. And they didn't. They kind of half-assed it because the whole point was for him to go backstage and back. But the whole time you could see him just in the entrance ramp, just him hanging out and talking to the refs and shit. Like, you gotta completely sell the injury if you're gonna do a move like that. And then Lance Archer, who's like the favorite, on a big favorite because he's like the big man and he's with Jake the Snake. They didn't do jack shit with these guys other than a couple of flippy moves that were kind of cool. Jake the Snake punched Max Caster just to get kicked by Pentagon and Cero Miedo. That was honestly the best part of the match. But Scorpio Sky won. Yes, Scorpio Sky won, and now he's gonna face Darby Allin next Wednesday on AEW Dynamite. Here's my problem with this. Before we talk about Darby and Sting, keep in mind Darby Allin goes through some shit. All right, in this match. We're not gonna get to that match, but basically, you get the gist. Even before you saw the match, you knew that Darby was gonna go through some shit. So why would a baby face be facing Darby Allin next week? Uh Next Wednesday. For the TNT Championship. And keep in mind, Darby has to sell an injury that he just went through. And now he's gonna fight a baby face, and you're supposed to feel sympathy for Scorpio Sky? Unless you're gonna turn Scorpio Sky heel and give him the TNT Championship, I will accept it. But if they do the typical like two great wrestlers just working it out, like and no selling the injuries that these two went through, like Scorpio Sky went through a ladder, Darby Allin went through a concrete or a brick wall and shit. Yeah, we'll get to that match. But this is bullshit. Like they better not do that match. Like they better not do that kind of match. That's kind of why I wanted Pentagon and Cero Miedo to win. Because imagine we got Darby Allin versus Pentagon, and you're thinking to yourself, how are they gonna pull this match off? And then Pentagon just bursts and beats the crap out of Darby and squashes him, and then he becomes TNT champion and he holds it on for a while. And then Darby Allin slowly recovering. So then at Double or Nothing, we could do Pentagon versus Darby, the rematch, and this time in a proper way because even though Darby uh, just went through some shit, at least he is confident that he could do it. How the fuck can these guys write proper fucking storytelling? They're just worried about pleasing. Who the fuck are they trying to please? Like, clearly they're not pleasing fans because, like, shit. And I'll get to the main event because I got some shit to say about the main event too. God damn. But anyways, yeah, I hated the ladder match because it was a pay-per-view match. Keep in mind, people paid to watch this match. So imagine people paying to watch a match that's gonna lead to a free match down the road. Stop fucking doing that. I hate that they do that shit. And I know I'm cursing a lot, and Jesus, I'm gonna probably get flagged for this episode or this one, but I'm definitely gonna get a bunch of dislikes. I guarantee you that. Darby Allin and Sting defeated Team Taz, Brian Cage, and Ricky Starks. Now, Taz was on commentary, and he was honestly the best part of the match. Well, one of the best parts of the match. Commentary was great here. I loved it. They had Powerhouse Hobbs and Hook interfere in the match. That was great. The entrance for Darby and Sting was fucking incredible. I loved it. It was so amazing. This was the best match of the card because it told a good story, and because it's a cinematic match, you could get away with a lot of silliness, and this match did it great. One of the coolest things was the painting. Like half of the paint for both men were Darby Allin's side and then Sting's side. That was great way of like passing the torch. I loved it. The entrances were incredible. Brian Cage and Ricky Starks were confused when they got there. The battle was amazing. They went through some shit. There's a part where Powerhouse Hobbs and Darby and Brian Cage, they just throw Darby Allin in through a glass, through a brick wall. Sting looked great. I'm glad that they mainly stuck him with Ricky Starks because if they put him with Brian Cage, it would suck for him because then it was like, oh, like he's just beating up a really strong man, an old dude beating up a powerful force to be reckoned with. I like that they stuck him with Ricky Stark because he could believably job to Sting. Brian Cage, they made a great job of making him look strong. Everybody looked great in this match. One of my favorite parts is that Ricky Starks, it's like you're nothing without the bat, and then Sting says screw it, and then he tosses the bat. Then later it comes back. Darby throws the bat back at Sting. He beats the crap out of everyone, breaks the bat on Brian Cage. That is believable storytelling. And I'm glad that Sting was a part of this because he needed a big redemption after his failed match with Seth Rollins. I thought that match was okay. But yeah, that was the big downfall of his career because he got injured. I mean, you could argue that Seth Rollins was the problem. You could argue that Sting was just too old. Many issues, but that's in the past. Let's just focus that Sting got his redemption storyline. But my favorite part, and this made me say, Darby Allin is now my favorite wrestler ever. Like it was Roman Reigns, it was Kenny Omega, and it was Daniel Bryan. Darby Allin was number 4. Now he's number 1. After that epic move where Darby just jumped from a window to the wall, to the. No, I'm joking. No, he jumped through like a window onto Brian Cage and through a table. And I like that they didn't bring back Darby Allin like in a cheesy way, like, I'm back up, like Superman. No. Now that Darby and Brian were out, it just left Ricky Starks and Sting, who already were brutalized, and Sting ended up winning the match. And this was more of a Sting match. Like honestly, after this, Sting could retire. He's good. He has put his point across. He could be a manager for Darby Allin, but he doesn't need to wrestle anymore. He did his job. He did a fantastic job. I loved the match. I thought it was well told story. 13 minutes only. That is great. Like you could do a lot with 13 minutes. Keep in mind, the ladder match was 23 minutes long, and the whole time I was dreading it. I didn't even give a shit who won. I just wanted that shit to end. Oh my god. But yeah, I have a lot of shit to say about the next match. So I was actually pretty excited for Kenny Omega versus John Moxley. Then I heard the stipulation being an exploding barbed wire death match, and in my head I was like, that is too much of a name to deal with. It just sounds so ridiculous. But then I saw like highlights of the previous exploding barbed wire death matches, and I was like, oh shit, that's what they're gonna do. I want to see how they pull this off. So now I'm invested. I want to see what is going to happen. And keep in mind, John Moxley and Kenny Omega come out and like street clothes made sense. Don Callis is on commentary, and naturally, the heat that these two have against each other, the hate that these guys have on one another. Naturally, once the bell rings, these two should be beating the crap out of each other. Instead, the first 5 to 10 minutes of this match was eh, eh, eh. Okay, fine. Like it took too long. This match should have started with both men beating the crap out of each other, and then one of them try. Then you could do the whole spot of will they, won't they hit the barbed wire that will eventually blow up. There was one side of the ring where they could have gotten out, like they had no barbed wire. All they had is just like a trash can full of weapons, so that made sense for like one way to get out and get in. There was a part I think it was botched, but it was John Moxley. He hits his DDT on Kenny Omega to the bottom where there's barbed wire, and when you hit it, it's supposed to explode, and it missed both of them completely. Now it's kind of good luck for them because that would have hurt like a bitch if it blew up like right then and there. But if you're gonna commit, you gotta do it. Like people complicate or complain that WWE has too many scripted promos. AEW has too many scripted matches. Like it's too scripted to the point where it's noticeable as hell. Like, imagine if the TLC matches with Dudley's, Hardy's, Edge, and Christian. Imagine if those matches were kind of like, okay, I'm gonna climb the ladder. Okay, I'm gonna wait for Jeff Hardy to come out, and then he's gonna toss me out, something like that. Or imagine if Hardy like just if that will there's no way that spot where Jeff Hardy is holding on to the titles and then Edge spearing him was planned. That was just like being there in the moment. And you could argue that because of COVID, we don't have mega crowds and stuff like that. I understand that maybe we um, are not as passionate anymore as the wrestlers aren't as passionate or they don't feel it as much, but this match could have been a little bit better. I knew for a fact that this was going to be the weakest out of the 3 matches, just because the match was just meant to just because the other 2 matches were classic. I was like, there's no way they're gonna pull it off this way. Um, but anyways, Kenny Omega, this was insane. So throughout the show, they were hyping up the fact that by the by the 30-minute mark, the ring and all of the things are gonna explode, right? So naturally, why are the commentators too damn close to the ring? There's actually a part in the entrance ramp where it's like very far away from the ring, and there was enough space to put a commentary table, I would have done the commentary from up there, like away from the ring where it should be, because they're scared of commentating from that close to the ring. That should have been the story they should have told, and that would have been the great hype to the main event. Like, oh shit, some shit's gonna go down in the main event. But anyways, the match continues, goes its way. There's blood everywhere. Then the Good Brothers come out. I expected this, honestly. I should have expected this. And there's a crazy part, but there's a part where so they pass out barbed wire bats, but the barbed wire bat that Kenny Omega has explosions in. So when he hits a Moxley in the face, it blows up in his face, kind of like TLC 2014, ironically with Dean Ambrose. When he had the TV and that exploded on his face, similar. I could kind of see where they got that spot. There's even a point where they do a throwback to Eddie Kingston's match with John Moxley, where they have the barbed wire on Moxley's wrist, and then they choke out Kenny. There's a lot of cool spots, but there's a point where, oh shit, the match is about to like just the match is like, and they hit the 30-minute mark. They should really speed it up. I actually believed, I swear to God, I actually thought this was gonna happen. I thought that Kenny Omega was scared that the explosions were gonna go down, and Moxley was gonna hold on to him. He's like, "Fuck it, we're both going down," and that would have been a cool spot. Like, imagine if they went the 30-minute, or they almost hit the 30 minutes. Omega's at this point, he's just scared, but Moxley says, "Fuck it." So he holds on to Kenny Omega, and then they both go down. That would have been epic. That would have been a cool story to tell. And then we could have the match and the no contest. And it gets to the point where it's like, fuck it, no more Moxley and Omega matches. And they try their best to like try to have another match, because these matches could go on, because who the hell is Kenny Omega gonna face next? Let's be real. Who the hell is he gonna face next? Adam Page, based on what we got tonight, it's like, no, Adam Page's not ready. So who the hell is he gonna face? I guess they're gonna do Rich Swann versus Kenny Omega so they could put all belts together. Kota and Omega is another good option, but I don't know what the hell they're gonna do for Double or Nothing. But anyways, oh, they could do Blood and Guts finally, based on how the match ended. So there's more ideas where I could see where they're going, but I swear to God, so the match ends, but the clock is still ticking. So what they're doing is they're handcuffing Moxley to the ring, or not to the ring, but they're just basically handcuffing him. But Moxley's already too beaten down; he can't really get up, and they're just beating the crap out of him. Kenny Omega is cutting a promo on the camera, but they're constantly focused on uh, Gallows and Anderson. And then they announced that like the clock, it hits 1 minute, it's about to explode, and it was like, oh shit. And I was honestly really nervous. I was like, oh shit, what the hell's gonna happen? Like, this is a great way to hype it. Then Eddie Kingston comes for the save, and I personally would have loved this if they were building up to it. Like, if they had backstage promos with Moxley and Eddie Kingston, like them saying like they're them kind of selling their differences. It could have been kind of like, okay, spoiler alerts for Cobra Kai season 3, but it could have been something similar to Hawk and Dimitri, um, where Hawk has been the villain this whole time, but they used to be best friends, and then he gets his redemption. That's basically what they did with Eddie Kingston, where he's getting a big redemption, which explains why he didn't even wrestle on the show. Now it makes sense, and it's kind of worth it now that I think about it. But anyways, he beats up the Bullet Club. The Butcher and the Blade come out to help out with the three on three assault, and it looks like Eddie Kingston is like trying to pick up Moxley, which would have made sense. Even the commentators like, just pick him up, man, just pick him up and take him with you. But maybe he was too heavy or whatever. So Eddie Kingston was a soldier. He covers up Moxley, making sure he's okay, he doesn't like blow up and stuff. And then the explosion hits. 3, 2, 1. That's it. That's what people were fucking scared of. And then the crowd started booing, not because of what chaos the Bullet Club caused, but because that was fucking lame. That was bullshit. I'm sorry. Like, they could have at least had the ring collapse or something. Like they should have just gone all out with it. Like if they were gonna do this kind of match, they should have just gone out all out. And if they were gonna do this finish, they should have just gone crazy. I know it's insane and it could really hurt the guys, but sometimes you just gotta just take the risk. Also, if they were too scared for like their what was gonna happen, then why do this match? They could have thought of a different stipulation that could have prevented them from avoiding stupid shit like this. What the hell was that? Like, oh, that was so lame. I didn't like it. I really didn't like it. And then Eddie, you're supposed to believe that Eddie Kingston is also hurt. Keep in mind, the explosions didn't even touch any of these guys, and you're supposed to believe that they're hurt. Like, get the hell out of here. That explains why the commentary was so damn close. This was lame. I hated that. Like, damn, I really didn't like this show. Like, I kind of didn't like it. There were some good matches. Like I didn't hate the match part of the exploding barbed wire match. I don't think it was a great match, but goddamn, like this was a pretty dull show. Like that leads to dumb shit. Like and again, I'm sick and tired of the no selling. They with the fact that we're getting Scorpio Sky and Darby Allin. I don't give a shit about that match unless we find out that Scorpio Sky is gonna turn heel and completely annihilate Darby. Like that's the only way I would accept it. And to fight over a brass ring that looked too much like Sonic the Hedgehog's ring, like, oh my god, this was horrible. I hated it. I really didn't like this show. It was pretty bad. Like I would go back and watch the street fight because that was awesome. That really was like it made everybody look great. It really did. But this one was the ending was so silly. Like even the crowd was like, that was kind of lame. Yeah, they were like, boo, like what the hell? And say what you will about cancel culture and stuff. When it comes to wrestling, fans don't give a shit. They don't give a shit if things are gonna go haywire. They don't give a shit if, you know, women are gonna strip down. This is the honest truth. But wrestling fans don't give a shit about any of that PC crap. Um, that's just the honest truth. I think they care about, you know, people who are crazy and like could like do some wild shit or say some wild things. Like that is the wrestling fan base that we're on. But really, when it comes to like entertaining, they want the best thing possible. There's a reason why movies are movies where like no one really gets hurt, no one really dies in movies. Like you have to be able to pull this shit together. It can't just be wrestling. It has to have good moments, good writing, good storytelling. This is why people love Lucha Underground. This is why people love the Attitude Era because the stories were well told and that each time you were invested and you were hooked on what was to come next. This it was kind of like okay, cool, bounce. And yeah, this is kind of why I don't watch AEW that much, just because like, what's the point of like hyping me up for something that we're probably not even gonna get? When Lance Archer won that battle royal at All Out last year, I thought it was gonna lead to John Moxley versus Lance Archer at Full Gear. It didn't. It led to just a regular TV match. Granted, I love that Eddie Kingston. We got Eddie and John, but if we were gonna get that, why don't we do that? Why don't we have Eddie Kingston win the battle royal, not Lance Archer? I mean, come on, guys! Like it's right there in the writing. It just makes no sense sometimes the things that they do, and they just gotta get better at some of these stuff. Like they have Arn Anderson, Jake the Snake, Sting, Taz, Jr. They don't like they're all scared to tell Tony Khan that some of the ideas they have are fucking stupid. Like they know the business better than anybody. So let them. Let's just let. Let's. I'm not saying give him full creative because that would be terrible. Look at what happened to Jericho. They gave him full creative and he ended up doing some lame ass segments with Orange Cassidy and the press conference. Jericho's trying to be the Canadian Donald Trump. Like what the fuck? But just listen to these guys and see like, hey, look, they have a shot. Like these guys know the business more than anybody. Tony Khan just comes out like a big fat fanboy that just wants to work in wrestling just because he used to be a fan. Like, it really doesn't show that he gives a shit. He just wants to do this because he gets to work with wrestlers. Like, shit. So I'm sorry, I didn't like this show. Other than Sting and Allin versus Team Taz, everything else could fuck off. I would never go back and watch any of this crap. Uh, and that's the honest truth. I'm definitely excited for Christian to be signed with the company. I definitely want to see where this. I'm still invested in seeing where we're gonna go with Kenny Omega and John Moxley. Hopefully, it's not over. There's no way it could be over like this, or at least they should take a break. Actually, now that I think about it, it's a perfect way to write off John Moxley. Now that he's gonna be a father, that's the perfect way to write him off. But it's just really weird where they're going with all of this. It's just kind of random. And like I said, if they were gonna do an exploding barbed wire match, they should have just gone all out with the explosions at the end. Obviously, make it safe for them to like not uh, kill themselves, but at least make it think that it could hurt. What the hell? And I'm gonna keep doing that because it's funny. Anyways, that is my thoughts on AEW Revolution. Um, I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this, but hell, I'm also gonna get a lot of views for this. It's me, the ALE Double X Prince. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and until then, I'm out.